Evening Hatha class. I have bunny stuff everywhere still. That's a thing. Welcome to the bunny room. As you can see, there's things of bunny around. So thanks for joining. This is going to be a 45-minute Hatha class. We're going to stretch and rest. So it'll really be about 35, 40 minutes of stretch and then 5 or so minutes of rest, shavasana, or moment for peace. You are more than welcome to use a mat if you have one, but if you don't have one, don't worry about it. If you're on carpet, you can always use that. The mats are there to protect our body, protect our knees, our feet, our hands, whatnot when we get low. You're more than welcome to make this an adaptive flow in bed with big old blankets like this if you choose, or pillows if you choose. Or if you are using like chair or desk to help support the body, however you choose to do so, you can always reach out to me if you have questions. For this evening hatha, it's a chance to connect, give you a little taste of what I do, and then I invite you to join me out in the world or continually through virtually. There's other videos here on YouTube. There's videos of classes for gentle vinyasa, chair yoga, whatnot on Instagram also, and out in the world on live events. So with thinking of thoughts of warmth and spring, I know we just got into the new year, but eventually as the seasons change, a lot of wellness classes move themselves outdoors. So I am no different. I'll be moving classes outdoors as the seasons change and the touring season will be upon us. So I welcome you to keep an eye out for that. You could follow me on Instagram, best way to get in touch, or join our meetup community. That's free. And I do some special indoor events currently going on for the meetup community and virtual, family friendly, all ages friendly, all levels friendly. My specifics or focus are restorative yoga and yin yoga, a bit slowing down, connecting to our deeper bodies, our fascia, our emotions, to hit that emotional intelligence and become aware with what's going on with ourselves, to then be aware to what's going on around us and outside ourselves and the life that we are building, not only through our practice, but off the mat, just through our breathing, through our daily routines and activities, and to grow into deeper insight into how then we would like to move forth being ourselves and our contributions to the world and the people that we have around us, supporting us, or just that we interact with every day. But for now, evening hatha. This is something for if you're tired of apps, you're tired of Instagram, Facebook. This is a great way. You don't have to have YouTube in the app. You could have this on your magical giant screens, computers and TVs, your smart TVs. And it's just a way to kind of break away from the typical, just the typical everyday life. If you're looking for a little bit of movement, if you're looking for some self-care, this is a wonderful way to get started with that also. And you can also schedule some wellness coaching or other mindfulness practices and things with me, one-on-one or semi-private group, by going to the link that will be in the description. Come to Smiles, my calendar, get on my schedule, and we can talk more. So with this, with the Hatha, or with any yoga class, really, you can follow more so as with what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. Being on screen, I tend to take myself out of alignment so that you can, or so that my voice can fluctuate towards the screen, although I don't worry about it so much with the YouTube Hatha since I have my headphones in. But we'll be going through and just breathing through some poses and practices. Hatha, there's not so much a peak pose. So we're kind of just more or less stretching all the different parts of the body, allowing this time for self-care. And through that, we may, each pose, if you're having a peak pose or power yoga or vinyasa, you kind of set yourself up to go deeper in the practice for a peak pose. We still stretch and it opens the body to prepare us and help us just kind of allow to welcome movement into our lives, but we're not setting up for like a dancer or a tortoise shell or anything like that. So adapt as you need. If you have vertigo, we do inversions. Keep your head kind of lifted or the body raised a little bit. Your option to do things seated also and adapt. And if you have questions about adapting poses or names and talking about Sanskrit and poses, feel free to reach out to. We're going to get started. I don't have a mat today. I'm free flow on wood floor. Bunny is here, so you may hear him. He may come swooping by. He likes the mat, but sometimes he also likes to eat the mat. So we want to allow to, protect him from doing that. So take a moment to get started. Welcome yourself into your space and allow your body to start to lengthen the crown gently up towards the ceiling and sky. The feet, all four sides connected to floor if they're there, or maybe your tail is connected to seat. And allow the arms just to rest easy. Shoulders are rested. Really, the only thing engaged here might be you're lengthening through the spine and you're engaging your core, pulling and working those muscles and breathing. So, moving through your breath, your inhales and exhales to see where you're at today, how the body's feeling. And slowly moving from your natural breathing to a deeper breathing, you have the option to have closed eyes or a hazy gaze or finding a point on the wall. You also have the option, of course, maybe of Spotify or some other device going with just some background noise or music if you choose. It's up to you. Then you can just follow along with the flow. So you might need your eyes open for that if you choose to do that. Take a few more breaths in place, and as you continue to become aware of your breathing, allow your breath to deepen, deeper, slower inhales, maybe from moving from a count of your natural breathing being at 2 seconds, now it's moving to 4 seconds inhale, and then your exhales, really exhaling and letting go. To help welcome that awareness, that's when, if you're in a safe place, it can be nice to close those eyes, if only for a moment, to really welcome yourself to your body. And then when ready, on your next breath, on your inhale, you could have the knees soft. They can bend as we're going to go into a forward fold. You have options there. You're going to inhale and swoop the arms around and up through center, up to ceiling and sky. Stretch the fingertips nice and long, visions forward. Exhale, gently bend the knees, forward fold. Find yourself in your forward fold. Take any additional movements or sways or postures that are calling you. Maybe you find a rag doll. Or maybe just welcome stillness or the hands wrapping towards the back of the legs. It's up to you. You could bend and unbend the knees. It's going to put a little pressure on the belly. And then we're just going to go ahead and gently walk the feet wide. So maybe you're kind of balancing, lifting up from side to side. If you're in seated, it's just moving the feet out wider. You could also heel toe the feet out wider. It's up to you. I'm going to move around and just change my position so you can see what I'm doing as I trickle bunny food crumbs from off the floor. And then you're going to forward fold a little bit deeper as you take the feet a little bit wider and wider as you breathe. Allowing the head to invert, or you have that option, of course, to keep the head raised. Hands are connected to the mat or floor or thighs. And when ready, allow the hands to come forward a little bit. We're going to heel toe or gently walk the feet back next to each other to find that initial forward fold. Maybe bend or unbend the knees if you choose. Stretching the back of the legs. Then when ready, slowly bend the knees. You're going to slowly come back up to Tadasana, standing. Continue to breathe. Take your time, no rush, no hurry. The arms are going to creep through center, back up to ceiling or sky. You're going to reach for the sky. Your vision's going to flow upwards to allow a little balance in the head, if since you had it inverted. So kind of leaning the head back, tilting the head back, getting a stretch of the neck. The shoulders are low, away from the ears. And gently allow the arms to pass through center, coming back to standing Tadasana. Take a breath here. Now you're bringing a little more awareness into the shoulders and arms, the body facing forward, hands, palms facing forward, crown, top of head, lifting, raising towards the sky. We're going to repeat that, and we're going to take a side stretch with our wide leg forward fold. So once again, you're going to kind of swoop those arms around, raise them high. Exhale, forward fold. Take your time. Working, moving with your breath, being aware of your breathing. Inhale, exhaling. Take any little movements that you would like or that your body is requesting of you. Then the hands find support, and then you're going to gently walk the feet out wide once again, maybe a little bit further than last time, or you can heel toe them nice and wide. Maybe you had the feet facing forward the first time, maybe now they're facing out side to side. We're gonna find connection. The left hand's gonna connect, or left fingertips connect to floor. Right arm is going to raise through center and twist up towards the sky. Breathe. And relax, bring it back to center. Right hand's gonna come down to floor, left hand's gonna raise towards the sky. Breathe and release. Fall a little bit further deeper into that forward fold. Adjust the feet if you need. Then I'm going to walk my hands to start to the right side. The right hand is going to come close to the right foot or shin or thigh or ankle, wherever you would like, or outside the foot. The left hand is going to creep through center. Once again, it's going to reach for the sky again. And then your left hand is going to flow over body. Just a tad, it doesn't have to go far. Then we're going to take it back through and down. Allow a deeper stretch, taking the upper body over that right side. Allow the upper body to twist and move with it. Then you're going to pass through center. Take a breath at center if you'd like, or reset inversion. And then walk the hands. Left hand's going to go over the foot or near the shin or heel or ankle of the left leg. And when ready, that right arm is going to pass through center towards ceiling and sky once again. Vision can follow. You're going to feel this stretch in so many places in the body. When ready, you have that option to take it overhead. You might feel like you want to open up through the body. You're working through the system and be a little bit forward. Not going to be here long. Breathe and let it go. That right arm's going to follow through to the left side, following the left. Twist that upper body over the left leg, possibly, or near it. Breathe. Then, when ready, walk it back to center. You're going to take those hands now, maybe take a little bit wider stance once again. And you're going to take the hands through towards the back body. Vision follows. You could have a block underneath the crown or pillows or blankets if you choose. And breathe and just keep walking the hands forward further past the legs. Take another breath. Then when ready, walk the hands back forward. You're going to have your fingertips connected to the floor. They're out in front. You're going to lift up the crown, the shoulders and chest. Wide leg halfway lift, then allow it to fall. When ready, once again, find some power support in the hands. Heel toe the feet close to one another again. You're going to find halfway lift here. So shortly, slowly bring the hands up to the shin, head, chest, upper body's going to rise. So you have it risen. You're going to hold strong in the belly button. The tail is back. And exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, rise to Tadasana, standing. Take your time, no rush, no hurry. Coming back into standing. Maybe roll the shoulders back. Whenever you're ready, you're going to creep the hands through center to sky again. Vision's going to follow this time. You're going to let a little baby back bend happen. Then prayer mudra in front of heart or chest. Beautiful. Take a moment to breathe. We're going to find some high lunges. So you're going to go ahead and we're going to shake anything out or get a little Stretch, gently pressing the toes into the floor if you need. And my guinea babies in here with me, they are just wilding out tonight. They're so cute. We're gonna go ahead and walk into warrior two, so the high lunge, whatever you'd like to start and call it first. Or there are differences, and yet they're the same depending on where our bodies would like to take us today. I'm gonna start with my right foot forward. I'm gonna take my left foot back. That left foot's gonna be out about 40 or so degrees out to that left side while the right foot is facing forward. Then when ready, I'm gonna release the arms. They mimic the legs and which arms go where. Check in with that back arm so that it's not too out of alignment. You want to have that aligned. It's nice to have the camera for that. So you may say that high lunge might be that you have the knee bent, but you're not fully into a deep awareness of where your knee stands over the ankle or toes. When we're into that warrior two or high lunge, you want to really check in with the knee, over the heel, over the toes. Getting a deep stretch through that back leg. Also can depend on your positioning of the foot. We typically find high lunge when that back foot's facing forward or where we go in with the warrior one. And when that foot's out that 40 degrees or so, more so the warrior. But transition it as you need for your body to support yourself. We have these proper placements of body, but as we're working and growing in our practice, that may change and adjust over time. We're going to find that warrior one. You're going to pass by that back arm. And it's going to raise towards ceiling and sky. So here you might feel a little discomfort in that back foot. You might want to move it more into a high lunge position. We're going to take that baby back bend once again. We're going to flow the arms through. Find a low lunge. Connect left hand up next to right. We're going to twist that right arm towards the ceiling or sky. We're going to take it back to floor. We're going to lift a little weight or walk that back leg to the front to find ourselves in an Uttanasana, forward fold. Work with your body. Do what you need here. Halfway lift. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. One more with your breath. And after that exhale, rise to Tadasana. Shake out whatever you need. Arms are going to creep through center up to ceiling and sky. Vision will follow. Little baby back bend. Prayer mudra to heart. Notice any differences on each side of the body, or maybe none at all. We're going to take that on the opposite side now. So working with body, maybe that left foot comes forward, or whichever foot was in the back will now come forward. Adjust, bend the knee, release the hands. Adjust if you need. Then when ready, warrior one. Little baby back bend to low lunge. Adjust the foot in the back. Hi, bun. I'm gonna take a right, and he's like, what am I supposed to jump onto? Move my blanket. There you go, guy. His little messy animal blanket right here for him. Because he likes to jump in and out of his litter box. He makes a mess. So we'll just put that right there for him. We're gonna take that left arm to sky. I'm probably still in his way. And take it down. Uttanasana. Hi. He just wants to see what's going on, what I'm doing. He's like, what is happening? I'm going to move his little blanket out the way again. And find your Uttanasana. Any movements you need or stillness. When ready, find your halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And after your exhale, you'll find that you rise. Arms rise also. Baby back bend, prayer mudra to heart. Connect, adjust, find yourself, notice any sensations. Take a breath if you need. And since we've opened up the lower body a bit, we're going to go ahead and find a little balance in standing once again. So we're going to go ahead and release the hands for a moment. If you choose, they can come back to Tadasana. Take any little stretches or moves in the ankles that you need, or wiggle up the fingers if you need. And when ready, at your own time and breath, use your balance. You could also use a strap if you choose. I had a strap and I would like to show the move with it, but you can always use your hand. We're going to go into a balance and leg extension. So if you're seated, you could do this in seated. You can hold on to something to support you, or use support of a strap. If your body, as it strengthens and lengthens and your flexibility grows, the straps are there to support you. You could also use a belt, are there to support you. So, or as you get length and growth, you'll maybe want to go from using strap to hand. So it also can just depend day to day. So if you're having a day where you're feeling open and flex, then you might notice that you get further in your practice than without it. So we're going to go from standing, take your time, and decide which leg you want to stand on first. Then when ready, we'll start with that knee lift on one side, flexed foot. Then you have the option if you're using hand. It's okay, you might bend your body out of alignment, but you might grab that hand, work it, and extend and lengthen and grow. So if you want to focus on working with that with a strap, then you may put the strap on before you even lift that leg. You also, though, could put the strap on after you lift it. It just depends on your coordination here. So if you're doing leg lift with the strap, you're gonna then lift up. You don't have to worry about your hands going to the feet or the shin or the ankle or whatnot. You're just gonna focus on lengthening the leg itself. The strap can also help you get further in stretching and lengthening the leg and stretching those muscles, because you're also stretching that standing leg. So it may feel more comfortable to have a little bend in that other leg, or you may first work with that strap. Have your balance as you will. And then when ready, allow it to return to floor. Oops. And allow it to return to floor. Walk anything out that you need. I was thinking that was on the other side. And then stretch that. You're going to take that to the opposite side. So we'll go ahead, release that first side using strap or hand. Then whenever you're ready, lift. Find your balance. You could have that standing leg with knee bent. Extend and lengthen, and then start to grow. Breathe and lengthen. Shoulders away from ears, crown still lengthening towards sky. Engage that core. And then when ready, allow it to return to the floor. Take your time if you're using your hand. Then you may notice that as you're lifting and extending, you're going to lift and extend a little bit slower. Take your time. So, and then you want to lower with control. So if you're doing with hand, you would find that knee lift. And maybe that hand would come down to foot or bottom of foot or toes. Then you would extend. And when you're coming down, you knee bend and then go to floor. So you don't have to rush anything. Take your time. Breathe. We want to balance. We're going to take it back. I'm going to do it without strap. You could also use your strap when you're taking the foot back, but you can also use your hands. So I'll show both again anyways. So readjust. We're going to stay that second side. We're kind of bouncing into back. So you'll have that leg that you were just standing on. It'll continue to be your standing leg. When you're ready, you have options for the back. So you could start with just a stretch and lengthen, taking the foot back. You could start with the leg bent, balancing with the other hand. Option to flow forward. Option to adjust the hand towards inside the foot and take it forward more. Option to take hands over the head if you choose for that stretch. You also have option to use strap. It's a little bit more tricky with the strap. Some people like to lock it in and through the little belt here, through the belt loop, so that they don't lose it because it can go loose. So you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with that, that you're not cutting off any circulation. And then you could then start to stretch with the hands being above and work on taking that leg back and forward folding. So option for that, or just working with your body. One hand, you could take it back and lift up also. So you have those options with your stance. Depending on where you're at in your practice, we're gonna bounce. Take your time here, no rush. Like I said, I take myself out of moves and alignment just to show adaptions and adjust. You can also hold on to furniture for that. So I have been working on stretching through my upper body, shoulders, back, spine, legs, all that good stuff in that back body. So I like to take my practice a little bit deeper for myself. So as I'm breathing, I start to forward fold, get a little stretch in the legs. Make sure that leg is still behind me in alignment. Then when I need a reset, I just let go. And you still, once again, you're stretching through your whole body. You're like one big muscle stretching, so you can feel that in the standing leg. So if you're thinking, why am I stretching and feeling it like in my groin or my inner thigh or the back of the glute on the other side? It's normal. So take your time and breathe. And when you're ready to reset, release. And we're going to take that to the opposite side, so the first side. So the leg that was our first standing leg will be there. If you have your strap, you could use it. If you have your hand, you can use it. Once again, if you're using your hand, you could just start with taking the leg back behind you. Focus on keeping it in alignment with the body. Option 2, stretch that foot. My hand is on the outside. You could take it to the forward fold. Check in with the standing foot. Are you on all fours? Are you moving weight to one side or the other? Option to take the hand inside. Forward fold. You could have your opposite hand in dancer, or if it's holding on to a table or something, or if you want to focus on getting a little bit deeper in your stretch at your own risk. Be cautious, be safe, be balanced, breathe and work. Then you could focus on taking hands overhead, because eventually, depending on your body and your flexibility, that foot and these hands are going to touch, possibly. So take your time. It's day to day. Depends on your practice. I know I've just been getting into a more routine practice myself, so no rush, no worry. I know my practice has changed over the last, 2 years. So just getting back there, taking your time, checking with the body. That leg might want to go out to side, so you want to keep it close. And so you just think if your body's out of alignment, you may think, oh, I'm getting further and higher, but that might not be good for the alignment for your muscle, for the leg. If you're tearing it, if you're taking it out of where it should go or would like to go, to be more in alignment with your body and see for yourself and your muscles. So it may look like, oh, it's lower, but it's better to be safe and still you look beautiful in that practice. So it's good to work with that and take your time. As you work with it, breathe. And then, of course, when you're ready to let go with control. And release. Shake anything out that you need. If you have strap, you can release yourself from your strap. Shake anything out, wiggle those toes. We're going to take it to floor. So maybe Bun will come out as he just like skittered across on the floor a few moments ago. So we're going to go ahead and allow a little stretch. We're going to walk our way from downward dog into getting down to the floor just for another little back body stretch, because now we've brought in touch with our upper body, our lower body. We're going to go through that forward fold. So arms will swoop around, raise up to ceiling and sky, give a little baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Be gentle with body. You may notice some differences now after doing that standing stretch, depending on which variation or version you've done. Look at all these little bunny crumbs. This is crazy. Only in the bunny room. And then when you're ready, you're going to just take your time walking into a downward dog from your Uttanasana. Getting a little closer, maybe with your floor, as I am with mine. Seeing all the things Bunny does and everything I missed when sweeping. I was kind of in a rush today. So take your time, feet about shoulder width apart, arms are a little bit out in front of you, palms connected to mat or floor. Head inverted, engage the core. See where the heels are. Maybe you pedal out your feet. Maybe you wag the tail, or maybe you just prefer stillness. No matter what, eventually find that stillness and find 3 slow breaths, inhales and exhales. And from that downward dog, how we're gonna get to the floors in a few different ways. So we're gonna go from our downward dog back to Uttanasana into setup for, you could say, variations of crow pose. So I play with garland a lot. It could also be kind of transforming garland into crow or another different variation or move or pose by a different name. So you're just going to start by walking your feet back close to the hands, walking them back to the standard positioning, first position of the forward fold, and then the hands are going to come close to the feet again. Just breathing. And this is a new one I haven't done either. I don't know if I've ever done this move coming from this direction at Uttanasana. So this would be fun to try out with all of you. Basically, you can end with keeping the tail high. You can end with having the tail go low or not at all. You can have a block underneath the tail, so it's up to you. And you have different variations. You could just go ahead and take your tail down and squat down as low as you can until you feel a stretch moving through your thighs, your legs, your feet are forward or a little bit toes pointed out, depending on up to you and where your body would like to go. Or you have the option. You're going to go down and moving for garland or kind of a variation for crow or one or two legged. And also heard this pose called is you can take the feet a little bit wider. You can allow the hands to connect with the mat, the palms on all sides, and just start with bouncing kind of low, bringing the tail down, squatting down, and then lifting back up. You could do this with the legs close in first position also for yoga squat. You're going to take your time once again. You're going to allow the legs to bend, and you're going to feel kind of the side or back of the calves kind of lined up with the side of the leg, kind of coming close to the backs of the arms, just to kind of get a new position and feel into the body. This may feel a little uncomfortable. So we're going to go more into insect than crow, but it's kind of similar setup for crow. So that's why I say kind of crow or garland, just to give you an idea of where we're going with our bodies. Just to stretch and ready. And then we're going to take a garland to start, just to open up the body. So you have that option. If you've bounced and you're here, and this is where you'd like to stay, that's great. If you'd like to go into a full garland, that's wonderful too. We've been doing this in quite a few of the classes I've been teaching lately. So focus on your garland pose, just to open up real deep in that lower body now. Grow and lengthen and breathe. And then when ready, you can release the hands. You're going to take the tail up. If you're in that first position squat, you're going to raise that tail up also. Breathe and let go. And then when ready, you have options. You can allow the hands to wrap around from the outside of the legs and just slowly bring the tail down and see how that feels. You're going to go stretch in the calves and the shins and raise it up. And then you could hold here if you preferred that first position squat. You're really working that lower body. If you would like to go more into our insect pose or a variation of crow, depending on where you're Googling or finding online, have fun. You're going to go ahead, you're going to take the hands actually inside, so the leg. So you're finding one going inside the leg, adjust your space as you need with the body, and drop the legs down. And well, you might want to adjust that because the hand wants to be on the outside. You're gonna kind of bring the hands. This is me explaining things, right? So you don't want to lean as much as I'm doing, but I want to show like when the hands come down, you want to have your a little bit of your knees bent coming down. The hands are gonna kind of go kind of close behind, like the thumb is gonna want to be on the outside. So hand comes through, thumb is on the outside. I'm just showing you and kind of move my legs so you can see. And then you do the same on both sides. And then when you come down, you're gonna kind of allow one leg to come over the shoulder and then the other leg to come over the shoulder. Like I said, this is the first for me too doing this like in a live virtual class. So this is fun. And then whenever you have your legs right and steady, depending on where you would like them spread out, as you get those legs kind of the legs over, you could also, if you want, take that tail if you choose in garland or even that tail down to seat and try and focus on taking just one leg over the shoulder if you want to do that. But it's a little bit more depending on where your body's at, your flexibility. For me, it's easier for me to go through standing. So I go from standing in my Uttanasana. I have my feet out a little bit wider. I start to bend my knees, and then I see if my leg even wants to get near or over that shoulder because it might not. And then as I'm dropping down, I might drop down onto my tail, and then I want to work on lifting that leg. So it's like a bit of a quite an interesting pose getting into that from that position. Another way is you could also move from crow, that insect pose, and you're really just working on getting that thigh, which is why we get those openers, closer over that shoulder to extend and lengthen. So it's fun explaining things when they're new. And we're trying it together, and it's kind of a fun way to blow into it. But if you need to release or kind of give yourself a stretch, you're always more than welcome to kind of find a halfway lift so you don't rush the blood flow back to the body and then raise up. So maybe you don't raise as high as fast as I did. But then when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and do such. So, as I mentioned, and you may even fall over, like my tail totally wants to fall over. And especially when I go to release my hands off the legs on back onto mat, which is key. I probably should have said that when we're going into this pose. And we're doing crow, the hands obviously need to be back on the ground. So you're going to work on just finding that for you, finding those hands, kind of getting them down low. And then maybe take the hands down to floor. And then option to take that tail all the way down, or option to work on just getting here. So option to just, you're kind of opening up that lower body. It's so funny because I just did it before class. It always depends where our body goes. So you're kind of using your hands to welcome awareness to the upper lower body here by welcoming to the legs. You're going to use that to drop the shoulder down underneath the knee. You might have to get that leg closer. And then maybe you drop the hands down, and you could lift just one foot, and you could lift the other, or you could lift both. So totally up to you. You also have the option to take that to tail to floor and then have those legs over. Or the other option is some people do this if they're already on floor and stretching. They'll just take that leg over shoulder and just work on that insect pose, which is a nice another variation of that, just depending on where your balance and everything is today. So thank you for playing around with me with that. So whenever you're a little exhausted of working on a variation of crow or one leg insect or two leg insect, whatever you'd like to call the variation, depending on what you find on Google, just go ahead and allow your tail to come down to floor. Take a breath. Shake anything out that you need. And then come back to center. And we're going to do a little seated spinal twist to balance this out. So something about that is in my practice and in other practice, especially with social media, of course we work on poses, we work on stretches, we work on whatever we're doing, whether it's, shooting a basketball 3-point or, shooting the ball from across the court or kicking and getting a field goal in football. We tend to only show things when they're perfected. And when it's bright, that camera is always rolling. But in live, like when we watch a live game, we're like, oh my gosh, how could that kicker miss that field goal? Or, oh, that person missed that, half like court 3-point shot, whatever, or full court shot, whatever. And so it's like, that's the real life of things, right? So me in practicing this pose is just something that's getting comfortable in that humility, that being able to describe something, but always not being able to even perfect it itself or get into something itself at that time. With yoga, the body can be so different, especially since I was practicing before. I can feel the differences in my body and then visually see the differences in my body versus on a day maybe I don't practice before. So when I have a little bit more energy versus when I practice, or based on what I ate that day, or just if my body doesn't want to stretch. I've been doing more lifting at the gym. So it's like all these different things can happen. So every day when you go to your mat, the practice can be different. How to explain things, how to do things, the way poses are can be different. And so it can be so fun to do them together. And like, so that was my first time, I think, doing that ever live in a class and trying to work it out with you. And so I always welcome, what do you have and how did you get there? Or do you practice this after and where did your practice take you? Because it's all about preparing the body and getting us settled in for meditation and that stillness, which is where we're going to head to now after we do the seated spinal twist. So you'll come into Sukhasana or maybe a half lotus or full lotus pose. It's up to you. But when you're ready, then you're just going to walk the hands out to one side, outside the leg, and take a nice full body twist and breathe. Yoga, always welcoming burps and hiccups and all sorts of things too. Find your breathing. Shoulders are still away from the ears. Just revel in my work that I've done today, and it allows me to know where I'd like to be tomorrow. And then release, we're going to take it the opposite direction. So Sukhasana, just at center, then the right center. Exhale as you twist. And gently welcome yourself back to center. We're going to go ahead and allow ourselves to asana or half lotus or full lotus poses wherever we find ourselves. And if you're feeling safe and well in your space, you could allow it to find a hazy gaze or those closed eyes once again. We're going to take some time for a moment for self, moment for peace and Shavasana. So we have just a few minutes or so. Allow the hands to rest easy on the thighs or palms facing up if you're feeling open to the universe. Check in with your body, something that can help with that. So if you're getting into your garland or your insect pose or what have you, at balance of body, we tend to shift our weight depending on how we're trying to support ourselves. So in Sukhasana, it's allowing ourselves to find our center, breathing. And I like having goals for these classes and fun for my own self. So maybe from today, you welcome an intention or a goal to maybe it's with the lunges, maybe it's with the spinal twist or warrior, or maybe it's with that variation of the crow, or if you like to call it your insect variation. And working on that. I know I'll be working on mine over the weekend, through the week, to see where I can take myself. And through your inhales and exhales, just allow that intention or awareness or goal to breathe into the body, welcome itself to mind, and then exhale it and let it go to universe and see what happens over time with practice and awareness. Maybe you envision yourself getting into that or some other pose that's been calling you. Envision myself, my body, working to figure out all the kinks, all the steps, all the stretches to get there. So take another breath, another deep inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, gently welcome yourself back to your space. If your eyes were closed, you gently open them. You start to welcome gentle movements through the hands, the toes, the legs. And together we'll find our mudra, our prayer mudra at heart or chest. I'd like to thank you for joining me for this evening Hatha stretch. May this flow ease you into the rest of your day with light, peace, smiles, and love. Namaste. So if you have any fun tricks, questions, comments, anything about class today and the stretches that prepare our body to open and then get ourselves ready for a moment of stillness, you're always welcome to stay in your moment of stillness as long as you need, or take any other poses and positions if that is calling you. I'm going to continue to work on my garland and work on my hands, finding the positioning to then lift and raise and find these legs, lift over the feet, or maybe finding the crow pose, where if you're familiar with crow pose, I've not done crow pose in a while too. So it's just finding that crow pose where you're lifting up on those toes, that tail, and your feet are lifted up on the backs of the leg, or hands, not legs. So that's always fun. I haven't done that one in a while, so it's nice to do that one. Just take it higher and higher and play with it. So, but crow pose also, in that crow pose, some people go from having the hands down, you do your warm ups, you get there in crow pose, and then they sometimes will take their leg over their shoulder that way. So, there's so many ways to get there. And with the insect, your garland, your tail is on the floor where you're going from garland. So now I'm like so obsessed with working on crow pose. It's so fun because you can just play with the body. And there you go. So I just keep playing with poses and moves and stretches and working with the body. Half splits are always a good way to continually open and stretch through the back body and lower body. Downward dogs. What else do we got here? Our uttanasanas are always wonderful stretches through the back body. And our nice, yeah, other tree poses, our standing balance poses with knee extensions, our seated with knee extensions, and all those fun things. So keep playing, have fun, don't get upset, be patient with self, and I will talk to you soon.